Oh, dementia. I won't say who wrote that, so.
Good to go? Well, why don't we get started and call this meeting to order? And roll call, if you could do the roll call.
Kathy Cavalier,
Present.
Stephanie DeMayo, present. Chris Wilson,
Present.
Bill Baker,
Baker present.
and Donna McCall absent, and Frank Falcone is absent as of now.
All righty. Well, then let us move on and take a moment of a silence. And then if you would lead the Pledge of Allegiance, that would be great.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I know sometimes.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Blind you.
All right, we don't have all that much today.
I said I.
Can I move that we consider approving today's agenda?
I'll second.
All in favor?
I.
Any opposed? All right. We do not have a public here at this point today, so we will move past the, where did it go? We'll move past the public comment agenda items. And can I move that we approve the minutes from July 8th?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
I.
Any opposed? Okay. There were no minutes from August. We'll just note that that meeting did not happen. And let us move on to new business. Kathy or Steve, is there an update on the status of certified local government application?
I have no update at this time.
Are we still in the process probably of doing it, or were there issues that come up with that? I didn't know.
I think what we need to have is somebody from this group meet with the board and with a couple board members and make sure they're willing to do it.
That'd be perfect. I
And
could
that
do
would be
that. Yeah,
that would be the first step.
okay,
And let's make sure they're willing. And if they're willing, then we would take the steps going forward.
okay. So how do I arrange that? If I write
It-
Leonard?
If you want to just work with Desiree
Okay,
and just say, hey, I'd like to have a meeting with, and I'll come with you.
Okay.
Or whoever's doing it, probably I would say 2 from your group would be
Okay.
good. And then we would meet with maybe 2 board members.
Okay.
Okay,
mhm.
All righty, then that will be assigned to Kathy. And we have 7.2, a discussion regarding the Pennsylvania Byways Program, which I am not familiar with.
Yeah, I have, okay, that's, I brought the PennDOT byways interest form, which is an application form. And this started with regard to Goshen Road. And then I looked into how township, Goshen Road is a state road.
Huh.
A town can designate, a road that they own to, I don't know if they call them scenic, but they call it, there's a name, you can probably give it a name. I think Willistown has given their portion of Goshen Road a name in their comprehensive plan as a scenic byway. So they were able to do that through their comprehensive plan, and just call it that because it's not, they didn't put a formal application into PennDOT to do that. So that we're in the discussion of, the possibility of doing, part that goes through Radnor, Newtown and Willistown, and I'm Not sure about the other end. They're very interested in doing it. Willistown's quite motivated to name their portion if you've been out that way. I drive
they
it
have
all
a
the
lot
time.
of
I go that way
his-
all the time.
There's a
So,
lot of historic farms and everything.
and it isn't just history. So I copied what are the qualities out, and I think that's what George gave you too.
Yeah.
So you can look, because there's a substantial different items, and historic is one of them. There's also scenic, I think it's scenic on there. Yeah, and natural.
So there's a couple of items that overlap with our stated goals. Probably historic and architectural, oh, I'm sorry, archaeological.
Cultural as well.
Yeah, so it was basically just put it on there for discussion, because I've talked with somebody at Willistown, not at Radnor at that point, and someone at Delco Planning, because this part of it is in Delaware County, part of it in Chester County. And then we got the application, and it's quite daunting, but I was thinking we could just discuss what would be the objections to it. From the standpoint, the towns have to sign on to that. So basically, a township would have to agree to their portion. Willistown would say yes and fill out for their portion,
Mhm.
and Radnor the same. And it's just in the beginning stages, so I don't even know if you can probably come up with your own determination on whether you even put restrictions of certain things, or it could be signage, it could be certain types of things that would not be allowed on a road that's
Yeah,
designated.
so I think you got two issues as you kind of go into this. One is you're dealing with a state road
Mhm.
for this. And so, I think it's going to involve PennDOT, because if you start, if you start limiting signage, or something along the road in that way, PennDOT's going to have to be involved. So, and I think this is probably like, I would put together kind of for both this item and the item that we just talked about, why you think they're important. And then I would go to the board. I would have a conversation with a couple board members ahead of time to make sure that they're even willing to consider it. And then once we have done that, then, like they may give some feedback to you of what they want to see before it comes to the board because I think it's going to take a formal board action before I would spend any time on it.
It does.
Well, no, I understand it takes a formal board
Oh,
action.
you mean?
I'm saying, I think it would take a formal board action of saying, yes, we want you to spend energy as the Historic Commission doing this. And so I think if you think either one of these two are important as a group, then you should select probably two people from your group to meet with two of the board members and discuss both of the projects, what the benefit would be for the township. Those kind of things would be put together. And then just say, are you willing for us to explore it? And do you want us to come do a presentation to the whole board ahead of time of what it is that we're doing so that the public knows what the process is?
Might we also want to, if we were thinking we wanted to pursue this, talk to
Yeah.
some of the other committees that might have overlap with us? Like, Trails, Parks and Recreation.
Oh, sure.
Bridge.
I mean, that's what I said. It's just a topic for discussion.
Yep.
It wasn't,
Well, it just seems that.
the fact that they did that in their comprehensive plan. This is what she told me. It's listed in there. Let me know that that's a possibility anyway. Whether you go through PennDOT or not isn't necessary if your township puts that in their comprehensive plan. So that was the other issue.
Yeah, and
to
again,
discuss.
I would say if we were going to even do that, I would think we would want to know whether the board is. When you start putting those designations on things, it starts limiting things and, so I just want to make sure the board's on
Right.
agreement.
And the other roads that go through Newtown that Newtown owns are simpler. So if Newtown wanted to put that designation on Gradyville Road. Well, I'm just saying, we
Depends
have
on-
three.
It depends on what section of Gradyville,
Yes,
because we don't own all of it.
no,
That's in
it's only
Newtown.
the part that the town runs through do we tend to that? And is that part of our,
We
jurisdiction.
own from Bishop Hollow
right?
to 252. We do not own on the two other sides of it.
Right,
The state owns the two other sides. of it.
okay,
That's why I'm saying like you couldn't just, for Gradyville, it would involve the township portion plus the state portion if we were gonna do all of Gradyville through Newtown.
no, yeah, no, that this was, the town does, if you go online, so I downloaded all the PennDOT byways interest in the
Mm.
byways. They have towns that have jurisdiction on their piece.
Yep,
And then the state, you don't have jurisdiction on any of Goshen.
right.
So that's a very big difference.
Yeah.
I was just gave that as an example, and I think there's one in Willistown, or it's Grubbs Mill.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's designated as signs, from Goshen to Westchester Pike,
Mhm.
that side. I have not seen on the other side. I know they don't match, so it's
Yeah.
further up.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
they
I
have a
think-
designation on that for their little piece of that road.
I think for what what that's covering and what it has, yeah, Goshen's interesting. Because it really hits on,
Oh,
all of
Goshen,
those topics.
totally beautiful. And it's been brought up to me by people who visit, who have never traveled down that way or come that direction. And I think people take those things for granted, that, that it is
So, yeah, if
beautiful.
you-
Willistown does not, because as you know, a lot of the beautiful farms that abut there. Fortunately, they have wealthy benefactors who buy up the land, and that's very, so they're protecting that in multiple ways.
uh-huh,
What? So if a road becomes a historic byway, aside from maybe putting up signs, what else are we doing or somebody doing to this road?
Well, it's not gonna be, it wouldn't be called a historic byway. I'd have to
Well,
look at how they term it up.
What
It's
are
like
we
a
gonna do?
scenic is the one everybody knows.
What does it preserve it like a historic house so you can never change it?
No, I actually,
What's it about?
You can make distinctions that are much less restrictive or more depending on the towns that are deciding to do that. And if PennDOT would agree. If it's in your town, you can put restrictions on size of signs, where they would go, how they're put in, so that they couldn't just be put in, signage is huge anyway. I mean, that's a big part. We have pretty strict sign
Okay.
restrictions, if I'm not wrong here, don't we? Yes,
Particularly in residential areas.
yeah.
So is there anything specific we would do to Goshen Road? With regard to this?
Well, it's a good way of looking at it. I don't know if we'd have to do anything other than bring it to attention. That was why there's probably different ways to do. It's kind of like we have a tree commission, and they have a heritage tree that they can designate.
Right.
But they haven't yet, and they don't, I've asked criteria, they're not quite sure what it is. If the Historic Society says, hey, hypothetically, gives a little, they call it plaque, or a little piece of paper noting you have a tree that is da-da-da-da-da-da. It's not officially saying you can't do anything. It brings awareness to the fact that this is scenic. Everybody knows it, or this is a tree that's old and is, meets these qualifications as a heritage tree in a historic fashion. That, it kind of, it's a back way of doing something where you raise awareness so that people are aware before, trust me, I know where this worked before they go cutting something down. It's like, wait a minute, oh gosh, I just got an award for a heritage tree. Well, this is, goodness, the township has named Goshen Road scenic. Doesn't mean Joe Schmo can't say, hey, I want to build right up to the road. But when he goes to do it, ooh, it's in a plan where it says it's a designated. The town has deemed this as a scenic road. Or, so you're not, you may not have teeth legally, that's what I'm saying, but it's more shame. It's more that you get interest. You get people thinking, oh, yes, how beautiful this is. They already do in many of the places. But it hasn't been tested.
I mean, I can visualize putting up a sign or two that kind of gives a brief history. The Indians were on, Goshen Road, and then the settlers brought their wagons, and then they had to build Bartram Bridge because they couldn't go over, Crum Creek and all that. Like on little signs or something, maybe.
Yes,
Would be
that's
that-
great. Yes,
would that-
that's part of it. And you're raising awareness then oh, this is this was an Indian trail before it was ever a road.
Right.
Which it was, and it's 3,000, I forget how many thousand years old. It's a very old road.
Yeah.
Which is why it does this. And if people don't understand, when they come here from other places, they do not understand. And they're terrified of our roadways because they turn and twist and they don't have shoulders. And many times, and they're left that way. They're not straightened out, they're not cut into. So,
I mean, if you go down that same path,
Mm.
252, once called the straight, I sound like I know what I'm talking about. It's only because I'm doing a little of this, I do the tavern and read and take people around and
yeah,
talk about it.
or what we write about it.
But 252 was once called the Straight Road. George Washington and the troops went up and down there because they went to Valley Forge where they camped, and then they came down and they fought the British, and the British came out, and they, and so that's got historic value also. It's also a state road. I mean, not that we should try more than one road here. I don't know, but so I'm
Oh,
just
yeah,
curious
yeah,
what.
no, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just giving them as examples of where a declaration, I guess you call it,
Right.
of something without necessarily doing a zoning or a change in that, raises the awareness of a town to its scenic byway or its these roads and what they historically were and the beauty of them. Sort of like the tree. And I have done this because when I was in Marble, we did do this. And you gave out a certificate to the owner of this tree. Well, we can't control what you do with this tree, but they feel obligated. Oh my gosh, I got this thing. This is a gorgeous tree. Hey, in the end, if it had to come down to something happened. But it does inhibit people from doing that when they have these old historic, many here do, the sycamores that are on many of our historic places. And even in other properties, there, several of the parks, there's just places where you could do that without having to change and do the thing that everybody objects to. We just put these rules in, or the first thing is always, well, what does this mean? What can't they do? And that's what they object to every time here. What the property owner rights, individual rights, it's huge. And so it's nice to know what the objections are ahead of time,
Well, do you want
because
to,
that would be
do you-
telling.
you want to look a little further into this and maybe
Yeah.
when you're talking on the certified government, ask some questions?
Well, we can do both, just to
And
feel them out.
and
Yes, is
see
it
if-
something that's a
see if the township-
possibility?
Is likely to be interested in us spending energy on this?
Sure.
All right,
And we'll
So
we'll
we
do it
can-
before November.
we can talk about it again next month.
What's that, October? Yes. See if I can arrange that
October,
before
yes.
then.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Winter is coming. All right, then why don't we move on to old business, which we do not have any of, at least not on our agenda.
Nope.
And let's talk about what we want to put on the agenda for the next month. We had, last month talked about discussing some of the dormant applications that we have, which didn't wind up on this agenda, so let's touch base on that next month.
And you have a list of those?
Say again?
Do you have a list of those?
I do. I can send them out to everybody tonight or tomorrow.
So dormant means they didn't get past us, or we had the hearing and they
We
didn't
had the
go
hearing,
further?
we had the hearing and they never moved forward for one reason or another. I think we have some that we want to move forward with. I think we have some that we want to go back and try to bring the homeowners on board. And I think we have some that there's some question if the township wants us to wait on them.
So if we have applications where we put out the notice and we held the hearing and no one came to object and we passed it on, do we have to repeat that?
I don't know that you have to repeat it. I think that there was direction given by at least some board members that they wanted properties that the property owner was in agreement. And so I think that's kind of how they're using as a basis right now. So
So not objecting if you don't object,
Well, I think we just want to spend
Then
5
you're
minutes. I think we just
in
want to spend
agreement.
5 minutes on each of them next month. I would do it this month, but they're not on the agenda, so it's not really proper.
right.
Right. I just want to know if that, so you want to discuss.
I'm not
what we
saying,
have to
I'm,
do.
let me just say, let's discuss them and then I would tell you whether I think you
Yeah.
would need to do something more than just ask the board to consider them again.
I think most of them will be pretty easy. There's one or two that we may have some back and forth on. So let's put them on the agenda for next month. I'll get the list put together. I'll make sure that I'm blanking on the name.
Well,
Desiree?
it's been Mara, but I believe it's going to Claudia. Claudia's our head
Claudia.
hire.
Yep, I'll make sure that they're over, this week so that there's plenty of time for them to get on.
Are we gonna want to review then what we just talked about, the scenic byways and
Yes,
Let's
update, put that on,
Let's push, let's
Put 'em
push
all
both
on.
of those onto,
and I'll see if I can get
Update.
a meeting.
before next month, or do we want to put together, do we want to discuss what we're going to?
No, I'd rather, hear the objections, so I'd rather meet first
Okay.
and then find out if if it's pointless.
are
or
we
if it's
likely to have any
not.
new applications that we want to discuss next month?
Yes, you will.
Okay. So put that we'll
No, yes,
have some of those. And they should probably go over to the township this week. So that the township has time to do any notifications they need.
yeah, but they won't make it by October's.
You got a wish list?
November.
Anything you want?
No, no wishes.
No, nothing today?
Yep.
All right. And then are we good on items for the next agenda for now?
Yes. I have, update on existing applications, what are the next steps? Update on meetings, with board members on the byway and the PLG certified local government application, and then any new housing application.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, and if anything else comes up, we'll let you and the township know, but I think they're good.
Okay.
Then that'll move us to item 10, public agenda or public comment, which we don't have anybody here today, so we'll close public comment. Does anybody want to discuss anything else before we adjourn? And I motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.